Thank you for tuning in to Terry Swoope videos. On today's video, I'm going to talk about the legendary jazz and R&B singer, Phyllis Hyman. I believe Phyllis Hyman is one of the most beautiful women God has ever created. She had those Amazon eyes that would just hypnotize you when you look at her. Even though she was a beautiful, gorgeous woman, she was alone for most of her life. She never had any kids. She was single for most of her life. She was only married for a brief period of time to her manager, Larry Alexander. And she suffered from bipolar disorder. She suffered from depression. And I'm going to show some interviews where she talked about her emotions and how she had a hard time controlling her emotions from highs to lows. And I'm going to talk about her music career. I love her music. If they ever make a movie about Phyllis Hyman's life, I believe they should get Beyonce to play the role of Phyllis Hyman. When Phyllis was younger, she looked a lot like Beyonce, almost identical. So I think that would be a really good movie if they got Beyonce to play the role of Phyllis Hyman. Now, their voices are completely different. I believe Phyllis Hyman has a much powerful voice than Beyonce. Phyllis Hyman was born on July 6, 1949, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Her father was a military veteran. She was the oldest of 7 kids. And she started singing at an early age. After she graduated high school in the late 1960s, she moved to New York to take on a music career. She started singing in nightclubs, and eventually she was discovered by a record company. And she started her own band called Phyllis Hyman and the Factor. At the beginning of her career, she struggled to gain success in the early 1970s. But in 1978, she started working with Clive Davis. And Clive Davis is one of the biggest hit-making producers in the history of music. He's worked with Whitney Houston, he's worked with Aretha Franklin, he's worked with some of the biggest singers in the history of music. And what's ironic about this is that she turned down a lot of the songs that Clive Davis made for her, that Whitney Houston would later go on to record and become a superstar and a bigger selling artist. Phyllis Hyman's first major hit song came in 1978 when she released Somewhere in My Life. And she also released the song You Know How to Love Me. Both songs made the top 10 on the R&B charts, and they both sold gold. And this is what put her on the map. But eventually she started doing Broadway. She's turned to Broadway to broaden her career. And she was amazing on Broadway. She starred in the Broadway play Sophisticated Lady from 1981 to 1983.
Hurry, 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 take the A train to find the quickest way to get to home. Yes, I say, if you should take the A train, don't you know you will find you get where you're going if you hurry. I said, hurry, 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 now it's coming. Ooh, ooh, can't you hear the rail coming? You better get with it if you should take the A train. Don't you know you'll find you get where you're going if you hurry. Woo, woo. Ba-da-ba-diddly-da, oodly-poo. Do-do, ow. I said that I ain't mad at you, pretty baby. Don't you dare be mad at me. Scream of me, booty, boo-do, oh, poopy-doo. is music. If it ain't possessing something sweet, it ain't the melody. No, it ain't the music. There's something else that makes the tune complete. Well, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Don't mean a thing, all you got to do is sing. Makes a difference if it's sweet or hot. Pass it together with everything you got. Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
At the same time that Phyllis Hyman was working on Broadway, she was also doing commercials for Burger King. She sung their theme song in their commercials between 1980 and 1982. So if you ever watch any of these old Burger King commercials, remember that's Phyllis Hyman's voice.
This is gonna knock these people out. You know that we're inundated with commercials in this country, and some of them leave a mark on us, and you are responsible for a lot of them. How about singing some of the commercials for them? Give them an idea of some of them.
Without saying the name, of course, is probably something
You
that
can
we
say
eat
the
a
name.
lot of. 200 million people, no two are quite the same. Each doing things their own way, each plays a different game. But folks who like things their way, well, they come to Burger King. For burgers big or burgers small, with everything or nothing at all. Yes, America loves burgers at America's Burger King.
How would you describe yourself as a woman trying to deal with life in the 80s? You said your album is a reflection of that single woman.
Well, I don't deal with it very well. I manage to produce and deliver. But personally, I haven't dealt with it very well. I've had a lot of emotional ups and downs. As I said earlier, I have begun the process of recovery, so to speak, you know, just trying to feel better about myself, regain my confidence.
But you seem like the type of person that lives life from one extreme. There's no medium ground for you.
Oh, no, there isn't. I'm born under the sign of Cancer, and I have a Sagittarian moon and rising. And if you know anything about the signs, that's called extreme highs and extreme lows, and there is no middle for me. It has to be something that has to be worked on. And I'm talking about worked on full time, and that's almost impossible in this sort of work. What I do is I run my own company, Command Performances, which consists of a production company, a music publishing firm, and a management firm. And the management company is somewhat inactive, except that I co-manage myself with two incredibly talented black lawyers out of Philadelphia, two young ladies who I've known for many years. And I just can't let go. I can't say, here, girls, you got it. That's just not my nature. I have also been burned in the past, letting other people do that, those who claim to have been the experts, and I got burned. And I'm skeptical. I'm trying to take away the word, I do not trust people. You know, that word it has a very negative connotation, and now I'm replacing it with skepticism, because that is, you know, maybe either or. And I'm skeptical of most people I do business with.
In 1987, Phyllis Hyman released her fifth album, Living All Alone. The album sold gold. It sold 500,000 copies. And this was the highest selling album of her career. And she started changing her look drastically. She started wearing the big tall hats, and she gained a lot of weight. By the late 1980s, she looked completely different than what she looked like in the early 1980s. And I thought she was still beautiful, even though she put on some weight. And even though she was having more success, her personal life got worse and worse. Her bipolar disorder got worse, and her depression got worse. And when you see her in interviews, you can see she has some problems with her mental capacity.
Now, do you want to be married?
No.
Oh,
No, I
don't.
shouldn't say that. What I would like is someone nice in my life. I would like to be able to go on lunch dates like a lot of the girls I know. I love children. But I'm told by men who are friendly with me that I'm intimidating. I'm over 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'm not a thin woman. I'm not afraid to show my figure. I'm not afraid to laugh and to have a lot of fun. I'm not very quiet. And it seems like guys like girls who are, hi, how are you? Oh.
I know some guys
See, I
who would
can't
think
do
you're
that.
terrific. I'll fix you up later.
Please.
Yeah, I will. I've got a guy for you.
If this table were not so close, I would fall on my knees. Because I'm serious. It's hard. And I'm told by other women, executive women, that they have a hard time as well. I don't know if that's true or not, but I can testify to the fact that it is definitely not easy for me. Men do not ask me out. They think that I'm unapproachable, and I'm not.
And you're not.
I'm a great cook. I love being at home. I'm a Cancer. I was born July 6, 1949, and I'm a new 40.
Now, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You've just turned 40, right?
Yep.
Feel any different? Did it scare you? I mean, did you have one of those horrible 40th birthdays?
I didn't go through that at 25.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I have girlfriends who are turning 22 and 23 and freaking out.
I know.
They're literally having psychological trauma.
But you didn't at all.
No.
Why do you think
You know
that's
why?
true?
Because when I turned 18, and was told before then that I was going to have everything together, 18 came, and I didn't have a clue. 21 came, and I still didn't have a clue. And then 30 came, 35 came, and I begun to have clues about who I was, who I wanted to be, and I like that. I find that I like getting older. I like the wrinkles. I like sometimes the extra dimples that you have, you know. I like that, you know, and I'm not a workout queen. I'm not into the gym. I'm not into being skinny. I mean, it would be nice to be thin if that were the case, but it's not. I would have to work at it extensively, and guess what? I'm not going to do it. No.
In 1995, Phyllis Hyman released her last album, I Refuse to Be Lonely. It seems like her music reflected her real life towards the end of her life. Because when you listen to this last album, it's very depressing to listen to because all the songs are about loneliness and depression. On June 30th, 1995, Phyllis was scheduled to do a concert with the Whispers. She checked into her hotel and she apparently committed suicide. She wrote a suicide note saying that she could no longer live anymore, that she was tired of living the way she was living, and she thanked all her fans, and she took prescription pills and killed herself. She died of a drug overdose. And the Whispers were heartbroken. People around the world were heartbroken about her death. And I'm going to show the media report of what people were saying after she died.
At the apparent suicide of popular jazz singer Phyllis Hyman. The 45-year-old Hyman was supposed to sing at the Apollo Theater tonight, but her assistant found her unconscious in her Midtown apartment this afternoon. She died at a nearby hospital. Police say pill bottles and notes were found near Hyman's body. Jazz singer Phyllis Hyman dead of an apparent suicide at age 45.
Tonight, the legendary diva of modern pop, R&B, and jazz, Phyllis Hyman, is dead.
And although she is gone, she will never, ever be forgotten.
The announcement on stage at the Apollo stunned many in the crowd waiting outside.
Music world lost somebody very important.
Yeah.
Very important tonight. Yes, oh, that's a shame. She's a good singer. Yeah.
Great.
She performed. Yeah.
Great. Oh, man.
I know.
Police say she was found dead in her Manhattan apartment, an apparent suicide. Phyllis Hyman was 45.
I believe Phyllis Hyman should go down in history as one of the greatest singers of all time. She was a great writer, a great producer, a great musician overall. A lot of people have problems with depression. I've suffered from depression my entire life. And I've often thought about suicide. So my advice for any person that suffers from depression, that suffers from anxiety, is to get help. There's so many groups that you can join to talk to people about your problems. And therapy helps. Therapy helps deal with depression. It helps to deal with anxiety. So my advice to any person that's struggling from this is to get help. A lot of people have different opinions about this topic. Leave a comment, rate, and subscribe.